Not only can they find us on Rumble, Ericka, where else can they find us? Because everyone should want to find us, don't you think?
I think they should. I mean, we're lovely, delightful, educational.
You're lovely. I may be educational, but I don't think anyone described me as lovely or lovely.
I would say, based on the comments we got about my blue lipstick last week, I'm looking for something to get people to comment again, just so you guys know.
I was, by the way, that was me. I was the one that made all those comments on the blue lipstick because I was actually out of pocket, but Jay was co-host. But I don't know, blue lipstick. It's like it was like being an inside out Smurf or something. I don't know.
Comment below. What did you guys think of the blue lipstick? But wherever you guys are watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, Instagram, you guys were on all the social media platforms. We actually also now, Robert, you just started a Truth Social account too. That was one we didn't have before. So we're on all the social medias. Wherever you're watching, make sure to like, share, and subscribe of the people. We're also on all of the podcasting platforms. So wherever you watch podcasts, make sure to give us a 5-star review and give us a follow. What else? What am I forgetting? And
at RB Chernin, if you want me on Twitter. Robert at Coalition 4 America. Give me your best shot. I promise you, A, I'll respond, and B, I can take it most of that, as long as it's not Ericka. Because we only talk to each other once a week on the show, and that's it. So.
And it's to yell at him. No, I'm totally just kidding.
Everybody yells at me. Everybody yells at me. I mean, that's okay. I get used to it. I get used to it. So
I got to tell you, Robert, this whole thing with the Jewish stuff is really, I hate to say it, but people who sit there and say, "Oh, I don't understand how Nazism could have been a thing and how could it be possible?" We're seeing it in real time right now. We really are.
Evil persists when good people do nothing.
That's right.
What I don't understand, and that's not true. I do understand, but I say I don't understand. But what I have a hard time wrapping my head around.
Yeah,
it's hard to understand. So when you look at October 7th and the unprovoked attack, right? For years, we through the UN and directly were sending money to the Palestinian Authority, to Hamas in Gaza, right? The Palestinian Authority, was in the West Bank. And it was quiet. And this unprovoked attack where women were raped, babies were burned alive, there were genitalia cut off while people were alive. They're still holding hostages. When did it become okay to hold hostages, which you never hear about in the news, except when they talk about Israel and how Israel shouldn't go into Rafah because there's 1.3 million civilians there. Well, give up the hostages, folks.
And that's been an offer the whole time. That's been an offer the whole time.
It's a canard.
It's so stupid.
And some of the hostages that have been released have talked about how they were and abused. And you never hear that in the media unless look, the only genuine media you now see is on the social media outlets because it's relatively speaking, it's unfettered and it's not restricted. But you never hear about the hostages on CNN. You never hear about it on MSNBC. You rarely hear about it on Fox. There are American hostages still being held. How is that okay? Why are we not applying pressure? The hell with anything else. Get the American hostages back. Get all the hostages back. But if you're an American, does it not bother you? But I want to get back. But here's the point that I'm sort of digressing. Here's what I have a hard time wrapping my head around. If those atrocities and attacks from October 7th, if you can't look at those and say that was evil, and call it evil. Let's use the name, right? It's that old, definition of, Justice Potter Stewart about pornography that I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. Well, I can't divine evil, but I know it when I see it.
Yeah.
If you can't look at those attacks and the babies that were burned alive and the women that were raped and then have their genitalia cut off and then killed while they, if you can't look at that and if you can't call that evil, have we not lost our humanity?
But that's the whole point of the language change, okay? anything is justified if they're committing genocide against you. So this is why
one man's terrorist. So it's the ultimate relativism. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. That's just crap.
Yeah.
That's
so
crap.
because we're having a genocide committed against us, any action on
we're having a genocide. We've redefined the term to make what's happening a genocide against us, so we can say there's a genocide, and therefore anything we do is okay.
Justified. Correct. And that's why you can't hear, that's why they're not covering the hostages, the American hostages, because if they did, then it would create sympathy, and there would be, and then the Israelis or the IDF would then be considered, oh, well, they're going to save people. They're going to save our people. Well, you can't have that, because you need to make sure that Israel is demonized, divide, and
no. If you're going to quote me right. The three Ds.
Denigrate.
The three Ds. The three Ds.
Denigrate.
Demagogue. Demonize. And divide.
This is this is part of it, right? So we got to change the language.
Do you know where I came up with that? First of all, I made it up. That's mine. But you know where I came up with that? It was during the Obama years, because there was no greater demagogue in my lifetime. I mean, he reminded me of Huey Long, which if you go back to the old Louisiana governor Long back in the early 1900s, but there's no greater demagogue. There's no greater demagogue than Barack Obama.
Demagogue in chief.
Demagogue in chief. He would demagogue. He would demonize his enemies, right? He would demonize, that's that whole, well, you didn't build that, right? There's nothing wrong with wealth, but we're going to spread it around a bit,
Yeah.
All that other banal nonsense. But at the end of the day, what I resent most about the Obama years, and we saw it coming, we did. What I resent most about it is two things: is I never saw things in a colorized world, right? I would divide the world into two things. You're either a good person or you're a jerk, right? You're not, right? I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care if you're fat, you're thin, you're black, you're brown, you're yellow, you're pink, you're blue. I don't really care, right? You're a good person or you're not, right? Your word can be trusted or it isn't. You're a man or woman of character or you're not. That's it. You have integrity or you don't. You have faith in God or you don't. And I don't care whether you call God Yahweh or whatever, Allah, whatever you want to call it. That's fine too. I don't care, right? I am non-denominational that way, right? Everyone, because at the end of the day, it's between you and God, and
as long as you're not God.
I sometimes may have a God complex, but no, I never think that I'm God, because I'm Robert and I said so. But I resent the fact that now everything is viewed through the prism of race, and you cannot take off the glasses of color if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's impossible, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. That's the first thing that I resent in all of this. And the second thing I resent from the Obama years was the division that he sowed between every part of society, I would argue intentionally. And I think if you trace the path as to how we got here, politics is an imperfect thing, but if you trace the path on how we got here, and no president is perfect. I, did a lot of work, for the, for President Bush, not directly, but meaning working, within the political support firmament for him. He ran the Jewish outreach for the country, all that other stuff, right? He wasn't perfect, right? No president is, right? None of them are, right? They're flawed. They're human. That's the way it is. But none of them, to me, were intentionally malevolent with intent to really rip apart the country and transform the country than Obama did. And when you look at how we got here, I would argue Donald Trump's election was a direct result of people repudiating 8 years of Obama.
Oh, big time.
And then those people from the Obama the satellite or orbit of Obama, who didn't like losing power, then sort of ginned up the machine to take down Trump, and then gets us to Biden. But all of it goes back to the division in the country, the war on cops, the breakdown of law, going after law enforcement, and then seeding, meaning SEED, as in planting, in local governments, people who are of like-minded quality to Barack Obama, the the great one, right? Of course, the grand community organizer.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
I mean,
Black Jesus.
Well, that's not someplace I can, but
no, but that's how people treat him. Like he was the freaking second coming. It's stupid.
He's still running things, Ericka. Now, does anybody really think that the doddering old Joe Biden is running anything? I mean, come on.
No, well, and that
defies that. I mean, you call people stupid. They're not that stupid. No one can look at this man and think he's running anything.
That's when the article you sent me about he's meeting with like prime ministers of foreign countries. Obama is. And
Obama just met with the English prime minister.
I mean, that's outrageous. What is he doing?
Right.
Sit down and shut up. Shut up. Go away.
Why, Ericka, why do you think he's still in DC?
This is what we've been talking about.
Is there another president that's still in DC on a full-time basis?
No.
Ex-president, I mean?
No, that's what it traditionally.
George Bush isn't there.
They go
Clinton
away.
Isn't there.
When you are no longer president, your job is to shut up and go away.
And by the way, if you're no longer president, you go away. And if you don't go away, you can make the argument that you are still president. Just trying that on for size.
I'm just saying. Where's my tinfoil hat?
Well, we really do need to have tinfoil hats.
I'm telling you.
So I want to bring up one last thing because I don't know how much time we have left, but I want to bring up one last thing.
We got about 8 minutes left before we go to After Hours, which if you guys want to watch us on After Hours where we don't pull punches, come to Twitter. Oh, Benjamin says 9 minutes left, 6 minutes left. Follow us on Rumble and Twitter.
So wait a minute. So if you take the 9 and you turn it upside down, it's 6. So which is it?
6.
Well, I mean, you said 9 and 6. It's like you're stealing my time.
He yelled at me. Then he was like, "No, 6, no."
Make up your mind.
6.
Oh, are we down to 5 yet? If you if you turn that over, it's 2.
If we keep talking.
Got it. I want to talk about election integrity. So, Ericka, wait a minute. I want you to look up Executive Order 14019.
Executive Order
140. So basically, this was signed last year by the Biden administration, or Joe Biden signs the executive order, and it allows the federalization of get out the vote using the executive branch, using the executive agencies to make sure that people have voter access. But if you drill down into this, you know what this is about? This is you. And again, this now it's being challenged. We'll see if the Supreme Court takes it up.
Get me started on this. Get me started.
But again, under the, you know how they have these banal platitudes, right? About, well, shouldn't everyone have the right to vote? I mean, who's going to disagree with that? Of course, everyone should have the right to legally vote. But basically, it allows them to federalize the elections to forget out the vote. So they're going to go to nursing homes.
Unconstitutional. Unconstitutional.
The focus is on low-income minority and welfare voters, because who are they? They're obviously, people of color. They're obviously Democrat. Most of them vote Democrats because they haven't left the Democrat plantation.
Oh yeah, no, they're going to go buy votes. These are folks who typically are getting government assistance, and so they're going to vote.
They're getting Obama money. They're going to
continue to vote to put their hands in other people's pockets and take their money. Of course, they're going to vote for that.
You're missing the point. The point here is that the federal government is inserting itself into get out the vote efforts on a federal election when the Constitution clearly states that the rights to conduct elections are state rights, strictly state rights. So you have you have various clauses. I mean, and the Constitution is clear that it's states' rights. And by the way, I want you to look this organization up. It's called Demos, Demos, because these are the people who worked with the Biden administration to have Joe Biden sign the executive order, and Demos is establishing a framework rooted in racial equity to amplify the new narrative around power. That's their mission statement. The key word there, ladies and gentlemen, being power. So you have third-party, non-government organizations, NGOs, working with the administration as to how to maximize their voters to get to the polls to make sure they don't lose in the election in November. And they're doing it through an executive order, which is Executive Order 14019. So do you see the connect the dots from the opening monologue of Death to America to the Executive Order 140? There's a theme here.
Yeah, and it's I
sit here and go, I can't, I'm not the Amazing Kreskin and I'm not the Wizard of Oz. How the hell is it that I'm the only one that sees the connected dots here?
Well, and this is what anybody who wants you should distrust anybody who calls for the federalization of votes. Anybody who says we should move to the popular vote, it's because they want stuff like this. They want to eliminate as many barriers to their control as possible. So if you are no longer in charge of your elections and voting and governance at the local level, and it's all done in DC, oh my God, we will never have a free and fair election again if this kind of stuff passes.
Well, by the way, for our listeners, certainly you should vote in the federal election. You should vote in every election you can. But yes, the key to stemming the tide and turning this back is not winning federal elections. The key is winning local elections.
That's right.
Whether it's your school board, start locally, because that's what the Democrats did starting in 2004 is they went local. They didn't start at the top figuring the top's going to affect what's below it. They started at the bottom, and they started with mayoral races and state houses in various states, most of them that are now blue or purple, right? And they worked their way up, because not only is it cheaper and easier to win those elections because the votes are fewer, you're building a bench for the future, because those people who are mayors or district attorneys or town attorneys or whatever their political office,
committee members,
committee members, executive committee, right? Planning boards, all of that, they then go up the ranks over time. That's how we got here. But Ericka, how am I the only one that sees sort of the connected dots in all of this? I mean, I don't understand.
You're not the only one. Unfortunately, the American people are just absolutely checked out. They're checked
out. You're death to America on American soil, and there's no U.S. reaction. That tells me America is checked out.
I mean, and that's what you've got them, federalizing elections. You've got them, canceling debt. They're just guys.
I think we're getting a high sign from Lord Benjamin.
He's telling us to shoot up. But here's the thing, ladies.
You sure he's not telling you? You sure he's not telling you that? He wouldn't be telling me that.
He would absolutely be telling me to shut up. That is. You know what, you guys? Real talk. I love my husband. He's amazing. I don't want it to sound like he's like mean to me. But there are times where you can imagine I might be getting a little uppity, and he might need to tell me to shut up.
That would make you an uppity white girl. That makes you an uppity white girl.
I totally am. Yes. I am am I a wasp? Is that what that is? Does that
you're your own worst enemy?
Anyway, no, here's the point, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming for your rights. They're coming for you. Okay.
They're not coming for your rights. Came, saw, conquered. The question is, ladies and gentlemen, what are you going to do about it? This is not like this is something that's happening. This is past tense. This has happened. We were asleep at the wheel. The question is not, look, it's the whole concept of conservatism. How the hell do you conserve something you've already lost? You can restore it, but you can't conserve something you've lost.
And on
Not
that